But at the end of all of this then, ladies and gentlemen, Pepe's in the Alpine with a sneaky lap at the end takes pole position for the final round of this season. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. Straight into it this evening. 5 lights, and for the final time tonight here in Extinguished Motorsports, the drivers get away and it's lights out and away we go then. 32 laps ahead of us, and in the Alpine gets a brilliant start ahead of Static Lazy. He took pole position today, but already in the background, 2 people into the barrier, and it's Billy Muez from really high up on the grid then. Now back at the grid with the Mercedes and the Haas car of Passy, the championship leader, who now spins around. He's at the back of the grid, everybody, and his chances of becoming champion tonight have all of a sudden came crashing down. He's back at the grid this evening in the Haas. Static Lazy now leads the Grand Prix. Pepe's has lost a position down to 2. Leroy QAV then running in 3rd. A brilliant start from the Ferrari, who's made up great places. And for the first time, we might even get Leroy on the podium today in the Ferrari. The 2 Ferraris lining up 1 and 3, and a brilliant start from both of them this evening, who have had a honestly, absolutely sensational start. Leroy up 3, Percival up 6, Owen up 8 then, as Passy down 9 places, all the way down the bottom till P13. Down the bottom now, Fatality, getting ahead of Davey as well, as Davey tries to take it back up the inside line, not enough room for him. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Brilliant start for the drivers then. Up the inside line there for the Williams, and a very, very lovely move. I think that was for Stray Dog Racing. Could be wrong, as I think it went up the inside line there. It could have been Owen, though, as behind that, Speed Freak and Perceivable. Now they go side by side, starting the second lap of 32, all the way down in towards the first corner here in Imola, ladies and gentlemen. Is the Haas car going to gap the Racing Bull into the left-hand side? He just about gets in front, and the Racing Bull does have to back off then for safety reasons there, and Speed Freak gets in front into P5. Owen then running really, really well up in P4, and might even get him on the podium at the moment. Really good start for the drivers. 9 places up from him. He started very far back. Remember, 9th on the the back of the grid in P13 with a disqualification in qualifying, and he's nearly in the podium places on lap 2. One of the seeing him tonight if it stays like this. But the battle's still continuing. Is that Leroy QAV then on Owen? It is, and Owen goes into P3 now. From the back of the grid, everybody, 3 laps in, now on the podium places. He's had an absolutely sensational start. 10 places up now from the start of the lights, and up to P3 is a brilliant effort from the Williams, who is making a good job of this race. Looking like we're going to speak to him in the interview room later. It really, really is. Look at that, the tree getting in the way. This is going to end badly. Up the outside line for the Racing Bull, and the kick. Sauber has to back off. Billy Muis is going to wait his turn now. He's all the way down to P9, is Billy. Oh, Stray Dog Racing has gone around now. He's at the back of the grid, and we've had so much carnage at the start. Stray Dog now loses his rears, and we find him now at the back of the grid in P13. Steffi there on the exit, and now going on to this 5th lap of the Grand Prix with the drivers. This is going to be a very easy move for the Haas car, as he's a sitting duck is the Ferrari. Through goes Speed Freak into 4, and he makes it look very easy indeed here in Imola. Down the main straight he goes, and clears him into 4th position. As yellow flags again, and it is Billy Muis who has once again lost his rears. This race is going from bad to worse for the kick, as he's down in P12, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we see him go and retire in the next few laps, because it has gone from very bad to much, much worse. Oh, big collision here then. Don Pedrito, who lines up well in the championship. He's now looks like he's been punted off somehow. He's down to P8 then, just in front of the championship leader of Passy now, who is making his way back through the order slowly but surely, but he's a lot more out of it than he'd like to be. He really is. Yellow flags again, and I think the Williams has lost his rears now in the final sector. Stray Dog, something's going on with him. It is really bad to see. The Williams are struggling massively, and is he going to go into the pit lane to retire? Or, you know, one thing we know with this man, his determination is incredible, so he might just carry on, but we'll find out. Freak here, and this could actually be a move up the inside line. Here we go. Leroy makes a great dive on the Haas, sends his car through and doesn't give him any choice but to let him pass. And now, oh, his rears are really, really cooked now and fried. Leroy does lose that position. It broke incredibly hard, and now sending his car around the outside again, but just has he got the traction to fight this around? Don Pedrito takes the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as the Ferrari now gets the better speed over the Haas car for a moment. He's got him again. Just has to try and keep the car stabilised now, and he should be able to stay in front. But the Haas fighting back, looks for a move up the inside line, not able to do so. That's going to compromise his exit now. Leeboy gets the better exit, builds the gap now to half a second. Up towards the chicane we go. Static Lazy and Fatality as well are changing around. The Ferrari's making up great moves today. Leeboy up to 2, Static Lazy now up to 5 and making his way through the order. A bit rogue and a bit different. Hopefully it works out for him then. That would be pretty good. All round goes Fatality, just catching him in a slide. Spins the car 180 degrees then on the turn, and he's facing the complete wrong way as he will get it spun around now. Resets the track, which I don't know if it's allowed. I don't know if that's allowed in this league, but he does reset the track now. Let's see where we are. Look at this, Static Lazy and Andrew Pittsmith into P3 goes the Racing Bull. Andrew Pittsmith now in third. He's having a really nice race, isn't he then? Ahead of the Ferrari. He now gets himself in the podium places. We might just get Andrew Pittsmith in the podium interview room chat later on. We've not seen him in there for a while, but they're still working well. You can see with 1.4 seconds the gap now between him and Static, and it is coming down 1.3, gaining masses of temps on these last few laps. It is getting really tight, and with only 2 laps to go in the penultimate lap here, the question gets raised, is Owen actually going to be able to do this with the gap? The Ferraris at the start had a very, very good race start, of course. One of them has retired since then. One of them now leads the Grand Prix with a 1.1 second gap, 20 laps on these tyres, which is pretty much unheard of here in Imola, and he has done a very good job. But you can see the gap coming down, and with only a lap remaining of this race and of the entire season here in Extinguished Motorsports, are we going to see Owen go from last to first, or is he going to have to settle for second place? The gap is now 9 tenths. Of course, in the 2026 season, DRS not a thing, but still here we get the DRS enabled. And Owen will get that now between that second gap. The rear wing will be open down the main straight here with 7/10 of a second down the straight for the final lap of the Grand Prix. Now 6 tenths as the DRS will bring him even closer, draws him all the way behind Static now. 3/10 of a second is the gap. And has he got enough now to make that overtake right on the backside of him? The Williams has driven a sensational Grand Prix. He was disqualified, from qualifying earlier on. Did not set a time, went from back of the grid in P13 and has had an absolutely flawless event this evening. We're definitely speaking to him in the interview room later on. From the second lap of the race, got to second place, and he's been there pretty much all race long. Now the strategy has came into play on the very final lap. Maybe it is, it's not really worked out for him here. Maybe he needed a few more laps because the gap 5 tenths. His only chance now is the DRS down onto the start-finish straight. Is he going to be able to get him now as the final battle continues? Owen right on the backside of him, looks for the inside line, not enough space just yet. Down into the final few corners then. On lap 32, Speed Freak with a penalty as well, who is on for the championship tonight, everybody. He gets a penalty. He might even lose out on that. I think Pepe's might be able to retake it. We go round the final corner. Static Lazy, who's had a beautiful race, 21 laps on these hards. He crosses the line in the Ferrari, wins the final race of the season. Owen over the line takes second place. AP takes the final spot on the podium, and we finally get to speak to him. But over the line because of the penalties, Pepe's takes 4. And if I'm absolutely correct, he should win the championship tonight. But I don't want to stress that too much because no one's been able to actually let me know that. My maths are never too good about it. But Pepe should be the world champion, ladies and gentlemen. Speed Freak lines up in 5th. He should be second in the championship at the end of that. Passy had a brilliant chance, but unfortunately ruined his chances after finishing in 8th position in the Grand Prix.